Big one. Knock knock. Welcome to the finance meeting. Today. So beginning, apologies and reasons given.
Councillor Rachel Flood has given her apologies, and in her place Councillor Stephen Johnson has also given his apologies.
Both acceptable reasons.
And they're acceptable reasons.
Okay, declarations of interest. I'm not going to read one of the long stuff now, it takes too long, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Andrew, you got any junior or pecuniary interest in the agenda items? Good. Minutes of the previous meeting. I don't know if they're right or wrong because I wasn't here on last time, was I? So.
I'm happy to propose them. No second.
Different every month.
7th. Just the initial.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, transactions for payment.
I just have a query. Do you know, can it be done in open session? It's about a councillor.
Expenses.
A councillor.
Yeah.
A retired councillor.
Probably not.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
We're looking at the right one. Outstanding sale invoices.
No.
That's what I thought.
Payments list. So it's under agenda item 141.
I'll do sundries, all mower parts.
A credit.
Yeah, that's credit.
Yeah,
That's mine.
that was when the wrong parts got ordered for the
Mhm.
chainsaw course.
Spalding cleaning services, I'm presuming it's the window cleaning, but we've got two lots of it.
Yes, because he didn't provide an invoice in
Oh,
January.
right. Okay.
He tends to do that now and again.
Unfortunately, I haven't got it, so I apologise. I'll let you do that.
Haven't you got it on the...
I'm not on live.
Oh.
Stationery, Scale Lane Printers.
Who's that, sorry?
Scale Lane Printers Ltd. for
That's,
1997.
I'll tell you what that is. That's for that new signing in book.
Okay, that's that one.
Shear training.
That's for the MUPE
Right,
When did you go on that course?
19.
Computers FSC.
19th. Is that Saturday?
Kids,
Yeah.
kids Saturday.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I can't remember what that's for.
It's 330,000.
Oh, that's the laptop for the new assistant clerk.
That makes sense, yeah. Thanks.
You going?
That's fine.
You got another one?
Pretty much self-explanatory, to be honest.
We've got to get to 10, so we've got to ask it.
Well, we'll do the big bear trailers, even though we know what it is. Have we paid it fully now then?
No, we've only paid the
Just
deposit
paid
by
deposit.
credit card.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other is going to be on delivery,
No, on collection.
on collection.
Day before, isn't it? Day before we collect it.
Okay.
Cleared funds.
So do you want me to put that in twice because you've asked about 2 invoices?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
please. Protective clothing for Mammoth Retail Group.
That is the new uniform for the new member of Parks team.
And then you've got Amazon workwear.
That's new boots, the boots for the new member of the Parks team.
Okay.
One more.
Notice board. This is self-explanatory, but yes.
That's the new notice board that's going to go up at Whole Beach Grove. That's 10. Could I have?
I'll second.
You've not got it?
Second, second. All agreed?
Yep.
Okay.
So, item 143 is the bank rate, which balances at £169,636.83p. Sounds like a lot of money, doesn't it?
So,
I've got a breakdown here, do you want
do you want to see the actual statement so that you can see the figures?
it? You understand, yeah? I fully trust you.
So 326667 is there.
Oh, this current account.
Deposit is that, but then you've got to take off the 2 ring-fenced amounts.
Yeah.
CCLA is that.
Yeah.
And the other money hasn't changed,
No.
so it's that.
Yeah.
So if you're happy with that, could you?
You're welcome.
Everybody else happy?
Yeah, I'll propose.
Thank you.
Seconded.
Everybody happy?
Yeah.
Right. Outstanding receipts and monthly budget review, item 144.
We're doing outstanding receipts first.
Yeah. The first 2 on there, the oldest 2, so I chased all of them. You see they're all paid now, they're all dealt with, except for the oldest 2 on there, they'd never received the invoices to
Right.
begin with, so they've been sent them, and I haven't checked the bank in the last couple of days, but I presume as where they've gone to, it would have been paid.
You've got one for allotment rent, but it doesn't have a amount.
Amounting because it was reversed out.
Okay.
There's also one there for donations, the same.
Okay.
I don't know, it's quite strange when you refund it, because you issue a credit note, sometimes it still shows it in, but with no amount by the side. I haven't got a clue why it does that.
So all of our allotment ones are
All done
done.
now.
That's
Mhm.
good.
And,
So
yeah.
thank you, Dora's donation, then is that being taken back in?
Yeah.
Yeah, because some of them are for the calendar, aren't
Yeah.
they? Yeah.
The 2 rent payments for February, the second one down on that list didn't receive the email. I
Right.
think I've resent it and it still wasn't received, so I think it must be there. They've now received it to their personal email,
But not to their business.
which is not their business. So, but knowing it'll probably be paid by tomorrow,
Yeah.
so it's not an issue.
Yeah,
The top one, I don't know why, but I will speak tomorrow.
yeah, because, I mean, just because they've moved over, yes, I would say they've got to change the payment details, haven't they? That's what they need to do for the amount.
Might be, it's always been that we send an invoice
And
and
then
they
they
pay,
pay.
so I've sent the invoice,
So-
I will-
Holly one, that's been
Yes, he's
quite a while,
got,
hasn't it?
they've got, I've sent a statement through with an overdue, it's on my desk to go, so that's, apart from that, it's all current stuff, it's,
You're on top of it all, aren't you? So.
Mhm. And the budget review.
Seem to be doing fairly okay.
So we're still waiting for the auditor's invoice.
Yeah. You've got massively over allotments, I presume that's
Yeah.
for the asbestos.
Yeah, the, some of the things for, that you've just gone through for the February payments
Mm.
don't appear on here.
Yeah.
So it's always going to be slightly a month behind.
Yeah.
So you've got things, obviously the trailer is a big expense to come out of
Yeah.
there.
Mhm. And obviously we've got all of March payments to come out as well.
Yeah. And don't forget, out of that figure you've got all the invoice came in this morning for part of the cemetery chapel's work.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Oh, they're about to start then, aren't
No, we'll
No.
have to wait for the actual
they? Tiles.
material.
Because that is in our budget, but it's gone to reserves, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, it's
So-
sat in there because if you look
Yeah.
up somewhere, it's under open cemeteries, I
Cemeteries.
think,
Yeah.
you'll see the budget should be there.
It's budgeted but not spent, isn't it?
Yes, 30,000 chapel
Yeah.
repairs.
But it will be spent.
Oh yes, it has picked up, it has picked up the invoice I put in today, which isn't on your list.
Oh, right.
So, yeah, so
Are you on the receipts and payments one or the flex budget?
flex budget,
Oh, okay.
because Rick asked me for that today, so I put
Okay.
flex.
I seem to prefer the receipts and payments.
Do you?
Yeah.
Each to their own?
Yeah. I mean, you have to calculate how much you're going to spend for the rest of the year, but
Yeah.
it seemed to, for some of the other stuff, it picks up some of the payments. that
Yeah,
the other one
sometimes
didn't.
it picks up some of the payments for the month you're in, and sometimes it
It does.
doesn't, and
Yeah.
it's quite bizarre.
But looking at the two together, once you remove the
Chapels.
yeah,
Mm.
chapels and next month's spending,
Yeah.
then we've still got a decent amount left over.
It's certainly over 20,000, isn't it?
Yeah, which there, I mean, there's stuff like the windows and things like that that we haven't spent, which we could, if we've got it left over in this year's budget, moving it into allocated reserves and then it's kept,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I think ready for next month, I'll do item by item.
Well, April, we'll be doing the reserves
Reserves.
policy, won't we? So we'll have to decide what
Yeah.
we're going to move in
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
the budget and update it.
So that's 20k, like you say, the windows, the frame for the disabled swing, which I said we've covered, didn't I?
Yeah.
I'm just, at the minute, I've gone back to them again. I have got a price for the whole thing from two companies
Okay.
now, so we can look at that.
Yeah, yeah.
and
So anything
And
you want to,
obviously then on top of that, you're going to have we haven't got the cost of the concrete and everything. It's
No,
not
no.
enough to do it, but we might
Yeah.
need a bit more brass matting, but that's all.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
so we can
Yeah.
decide what
No,
we're going to
cover
ring
that,
fence,
haven't we?
can't we?
Yeah.
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 And then you've still got some left over and then you can decide what you're going to do with it.
Well, are we going to look at getting this zero turn lawnmower next year? Because they're not expensive.
You've already got a bit in reserves anyway for
Yeah.
tractor and machinery fund,
Yeah.
which it might be worth just combining the two, given that you haven't got a tractor anymore.
No, exactly.
And then you've got some in this year's budget to go in as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You've got,
you have enough in the reserves anyway to do
Cover
that.
that.
So would you still retain both Kubotas or not?
I think the idea is to get rid of one, isn't it? Get rid of the
That's
older
what-
one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what has been discussed.
Yeah.
But I think if they have a bit of a season of starting off and seeing how they work,
Yeah.
then they'll know better what they're going to need, won't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, see how it works.
yeah,
Yeah.
you've got.
But the zero turn's only going to be used in the cemeteries, isn't it?
Yeah.
You won't need it anywhere else.
Well, it might be handy in the park a little bit around the play equipment,
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
because
forgot about
in the actual enclosed bit, it's quite tight in some of
It
those
is,
that.
areas.
Yeah.
So that might be quite useful in there as well, to be
Yeah.
honest.
I just think it's a good buy.
I think so.
You've got 2.5 approximately
Yeah.
in this year's budget, and then I think we've got
Pretty much the
three
same, yeah.
something
In next year's. Next
in
year's
last
research.
year's.
Yeah,
So, and then you've got money for next,
Next year's as
Yeah.
well, yeah.
so we've got enough to pay for it anyway then.
And the same for the slide as well, that will go into
The
reserves.
slide,
yeah,
the Rachel doesn't want.
Well, we've got to have it, there's
Yeah.
no way that we.
You,
we've
I mean,
got
you
to
have really
it.
got the money for it, because
Yeah.
you've got some in reserves, you've got some in the budget, you've got some
Yeah.
in next year's budget.
We've been talking
Yeah.
about replacing that slide
Yeah.
now for at least 2 years, if not 3.
Well, we've
It's
got,
flagged up every time we have an inspection.
yeah, so do it.
It's not, the slide itself is part of the problem, but it's the top section that is the real problem.
Yeah.
Concrete.
And the concrete that's
Now protruding, isn't it?
now protruded, so
Yeah.
you've got to do work anyhow to do something to keep that covered.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So you may as well bite the bullet and do the whole lot and
Yeah,
be
yeah.
done with it.
Yeah.
and we've got to spend,
We've got to spend that
we've got to
grant
spend
on
money,
that.
haven't we?
Well, we've got the grant that was given for that,
Yeah.
has got to be spent on that, we can't use it for
Yeah.
anything else.
Which if we can afford to
And
do
we've
that,
got, for the slide, you've got 3,000 in reserves,
Mhm.
plus that, plus whatever you've got for
We've got
this
3
year.
this year.
and have we got another for
3.
next year as well, or not?
Yeah, we had some money in.
I think so.
So you've definitely got 9, if
Play
not a little bit
equipment.
more.
Sorry, I can't see here. No equipment fund.
So we could top up from that 20k, couldn't we, if we have to?
If you, yeah,
If
and then
he's
if we
going to go over
get
10 grand.
if we get the slide in and that bit done,
Yeah.
then your other little ways up and stuff can
Yeah.
come.
It's also going to give the locals
Yeah.
a bit of extra
Yeah,
benefit.
what I was going to try and do is go back to both of the companies that have quoted
Yeah,
and basically say, right, okay, we need, this is our budget,
yeah,
what elements can you do for that budget?
yeah.
So at next month, if we know what
Mm.
the budget is going to be, then I can get that underway and get that
Yeah,
sorted.
I will know, won't we?
Yeah,
Beginning of April, won't we?
because I've worked out in my head what we could afford to do with what I know we've got,
Yeah.
but it's a matter of
Mm.
if there's that little bit extra, then we might just be able to do slightly more. So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and if we can do more, we can do more, can't we?
yeah.
Be nice to, because we're not far off our reserve, are we, with the amount of money we're sitting on at the moment?
Mm.
So it'd be nice to put some of that 20k back into reserves.
Yeah.
But not all of it.
It's all right, it's difficult looking at it from sideways on. We got 3 from last year then, and 3 from this year.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um,
And 3 in reserve.
plus your
Plus-
3 in reserve, 3 from this year,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then
Then the grant,
the
which is
grant
3.
money.
Mhm.
Was it 3 or
3.
3?
It's not high.
5. And then you've got whatever we put in for.
I can't remember what we put in.
No,
No, I can't.
I don't know whether we put another 3 in or what we did.
So you've got that and then plus a
We
bit.
can check it out and
We've
make
got
sure
enough to
we're ready
cover
for
it,
next
haven't we?
month,
Yeah.
haven't we?
Yeah.
And then we know what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
I'd also like out of that 20 grand, if we can, is to chuck some of that money towards the Jubilee Garden.
Yes, yeah.
That'd be nice.
Because then we can actually get some good
We can get it
planting
going,
and
get some
stuff.
decent stuff in there, can't we?
Yeah.
Well, we agreed what we'd already allocated,
Yeah.
because we'd allocated next year 1,000 towards plants
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're already,
60-40.
yeah, we decided how we're going to do the split for the Jubilee and
Okay.
the churchyard, because obviously
Yeah.
we've got to
Yeah.
do that.
If there was money left over from the churchyard, that would go to Jubilee.
Or
But it
vice
would be
versa.
60-40 split,
Yeah.
60 for
The
Jubilee.
Jubilee.
Yeah, but you're going to need something, you might need a bit of hard landscaping going on as well, mightn't you, which is going to be a little bit more
Yeah,
costly,
yeah.
so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Just have to
it's
look
a
at it.
one-off event for all of us in here, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, even I wasn't born at last at the coronation, just. So are we all happy with those then?
Yeah.
They're looking quite good, aren't they, really?
Mm.
To resolve to recommend to full council the further maintenance of the defibrillator. So that's going to be the cost of the electricity that they've got to hook up to, isn't it? And the batteries only last an average of 2 years apparently.
Mm.
I saw, so it's going to need a new battery every 2 years. I don't know how much they cost.
Mhm.
But once we know which model it is, then we can look into it, can't we?
Yeah.
But I don't expect it to be hundreds and hundreds for a battery.
No, it's not going to be a huge
No.
amount, is it? Yeah, I'll propose that.
Okay.
1 second.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Item 146, to resolve to recommend the additional spend for the trade purchase to full council. That's that extra 669 that we've gone over budget, or 699.
It's no brainer.
Got to be, isn't it?
It's got to be, we need it to be there
Yeah.
for many, many years, so
Yeah.
it's for the little bit that it's costing extra.
They've got good reviews as well, those Nugent traders. I've had a look around and nobody seems to be moaning about them, which is good.
Yeah, I'll propose.
Second.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Item 147, to resolve to recommend the full council the review of the following policies. So one of them's got masses of highlighting on it.
That's me.
So
Yeah.
I did start going through that, but
I read it all.
Yeah.
Most of it is because we do things
differently.
like, some of
Yeah.
it was because it used to say clerk and or RFO,
Yeah.
and now they're one and the same, so
Mhm.
I've highlighted those bits. Just trying to get to the first highlight.
So the first one is approve any grant or single commitment in excess of £5,000.
Review the mandate, yeah.
Do we advertise that we've got a grant available for people?
Commitment in
We didn't have for this year
No,
because we didn't do the grants. But
Yeah.
for next year, we put in so much for grants.
so we could advertise that
So
we've
we
got
can
some
advertise
money.
it again. Yeah.
Yeah,
approve. I don't know whether you want to leave in 5 or you want to reduce that.
I'd like to reduce it
Yeah.
because it's got to be this. It's got to be to somebody that doesn't make a profit out of anything, doesn't it? A non-profit company,
So-
charity.
Yeah, so the council must approve any grant or single commitment in excess of what happens under 5,000?
Well,
Surely we approve every grant. Goes to full council, doesn't
yeah,
it?
it should do.
Should do. shouldn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
But
Because
what does
we-
it mean by single commitment?
Is that just a payment? Is that what that's trying to get at?
Yeah, I think so.
But council, full council approves anything over 500 and anything under 500 can be done by committee, can't it?
Yeah. So do you want me to change that to 500?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because if a committee wanted to award a small grant to somebody under 500 quid, then
We can just go ahead and do it then,
it
can't
could
we?
do it
Yeah.
at committee rather than
Mm.
full council. Yeah.
The next one is 2.2. On a regular basis, at least once each quarter and at each financial year end, a member other than the chairman shall be appointed to verify the bank reconciliations. Well, we do it every month, don't we? So if I change that quarter to a month,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. Well, I suppose does the chairman do the bank recs at full council, or is
He
that for
should
the
do
finance?
it, he should do it really at the end of the year.
At the end
chairman of the council, but then he does because he signs off the AGAR.
Yeah. I just thought that, is that written for when everything came to full council and not went to, we didn't have committees, if you see what I mean?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But yeah, if you just say once a month, then that's fine.
And then, come on, mine's on a go slow.
3.1.
3.1, each committee, only if in place, shall review its 3-year forecast of revenue and capital receipts and payments, having regard to the forecast. It shall thereafter formulate and submit proposals for the following financial year to the council not later than the end of November in each year.
Well, we don't do the 3-year forecast, do we?
So if you just said,
We
Yeah.
should, and we should do that moving forward.
so should each committee do a 3-year forecast, or should that be, because I suppose each committee kind of gets down what they're going to spend for next year and does its budgeting, but is that something that more finance should do with an overall council 3-year forecast?
Without the other committees doing their forecast as well, we'd be stuck because we wouldn't know what the plans to spend in year 2
So
and
then
year
you
3.
could do a
I
general
think that's
plan.
the thing, We
I don't
need
think
to
it-
get into the habit of doing a
Yeah.
3-year forecast for those committees that it's relevant to, because it's
Yeah.
like open spaces. There's no point thinking about what you're just going to spend for next year. It's like we're planning for, okay,
Mm.
we're going to need this piece of equipment, that piece of
Yeah.
equipment. Other things are going to need replacing,
Yeah.
or we're going to have a major project or whatever.
Exactly.
You've got to forward plan.
Yeah, of course you have, yeah.
So,
It doesn't have to be in infinite detail,
No.
does it?
just generally, the
just a-
next 3 years we
Yeah.
want to be doing X,
Yeah,
Y,
so
Z.
yeah, so we're going to do
Mm.
a tree survey, for instance,
Yeah.
whatever.
Which I suppose that's a lot easier for open spaces to do. PR and IT doesn't really have, unless it's reviewing, I suppose that would be more reviewing its software and stuff like that. Of,
Yeah.
are we going to keep the same provider or are we going to change? and all
Yeah,
those sort
I
of
don't think
things.
we're going to change anything, are we, after
No.
Realtus has come in?
So that
And then the only other one's events, isn't it, really?
Events,
And you've got a good idea of what you're
yeah, and
gonna
then in
do.
properties and planning, obviously, that
Yeah.
needs to be reviewed, because
Yeah.
but again, you know when all of your leases are going to be up for renewal, so
Yeah.
you know what income you should be
Mhm.
having.
Yeah.
You also will know what things are needing to happen from a maintenance point of view. There is a maintenance budget,
Yeah, yeah.
but if there's big works, like with the windows, I mean,
Yeah.
that was forward planned, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, it hasn't
So-
happened, because
Yeah.
we haven't
if
had
we've had,
permissions.
each committee does a 3-year forecast, which we can start working on that.
Mhm.
That could then go to finance for review and be approved by full council. In terms of the proposals for the following financial year, not later than the end of November.
Which is roughly what we did.
Which is what,
Which
which
is
is
roughly-
Which is
is
what
that
we've just
about
done,
right?
haven't we?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we did.
Yeah, because we knew, didn't we, at the end of November, what
Yeah,
the plan
because then you've got
said
December
was.
to do a kind of draft one and
Yeah,
then agree properly.
Yeah,
then.
because it's got to be agreed by the beginning of January anyway, isn't it? To
Yeah.
get to SHTC, so.
Yeah.
So that's
So
about right.
that's that.
Yeah.
Then 4.1.
What confused me with 4.1 is it says the council for all items over 250, but then a committee for items up to 500.
Yeah,
So should it just be council for all items over 500,
yeah.
so you don't have an overlap?
Take that out. And then the clerk in terms of council, any items below 250, below 500.
Mm-hmm.
Such authority is to be evidenced by a minute or by an authorisation slip duly signed by the clerk, and where necessary also by the appropriate chairman. Now, we've been doing it by email.
Yeah, so you say such authority is to be evidenced in minute or
By
written confirmation,
or by written confirmation.
maybe brackets including emails.
Yeah, emails are legal documents now, aren't they?
Yeah, so you just need written confirmation
Yeah.
Written confirmation
by 2 councillors.
by 2 councillors. Take that out. And put in email there. Right then. The salary budgets are to be reviewed at least annually in September for the following financial year, and such review should be evidenced by a hard copy schedule signed by the clerk and the chairman of the council or relevant committee. The RFO will inform committees of any changes impacting on their budget. That's
So-
completely wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, but what we said for HR is that we would, because we've got appraisals in October and March, so you would review your salaries after October appraisals, ready for budgeting, because you've got to agree that in January. You can then do another review to make sure you're happy with it after your March appraisal sort of
Yeah.
thing.
So
Because it,
so that would be in
November.
November and March, yeah?
yeah, November and March.
It's only really for the park skies, isn't it? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Because we don't know what's going to
A
happen.
hard copy schedule.
Yeah.
Two ladies in the office doing.
Do you want a hard copy set schedule? evidence where,
Well, it'll be, I mean, the review will be done at a meeting, it'll be minuted, won't it?
yeah,
It'll be
so
a
that would
HR
be
meeting.
fine, and then it would be signed by a chairman, so that would fit perfectly into that, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Or do you want chairman of, oh, it will be signed by the chairman because it'll be agreed at, chairman of the council, won't it? Because it'll be agreed at full council.
Council.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um,
And then you can inform committees of any changes if that's fine.
the approved schedule should be ruled off. This is it. So this goes back to the
Well-
invoices.
We don't have a vice chairman of finance, do
No, this is chairman of the council.
we? Is it?
So resolution, the approved schedule should be ruled off and so in, what used to happen was what they used to call the cheque register, the payments list, used to be signed by the chairman and vice chairman at the meeting.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
But now we record the amount in
Yeah.
the minutes
Yeah.
and then we annex the
Annex the
thing,
payments.
and which then gets signed by the chairman
In, yeah, the next meeting.
at the next meeting.
Yeah.
So I don't know how, if you want to leave that in and go back to as it used to be, or you want to update it.
So the approved schedule should be ruled off and initialed by the chairman and, so it says and vice chairman.
Yeah.
Don't think it needs both, does it? And needs one.
The approved schedule,
Because the vice chairman wouldn't sign the minutes unless the chairman wasn't
No.
present, so.
so the
Perhaps
approved,
chairman and clerk and lead RFO.
I shouldn't really sign it because I'm the one who's produced it.
Yeah.
So the approved schedule
Well, we're recommending to the full council, aren't we?
shall be,
To pay
Or do you
everything.
want to just say it's minuted
shall be minuted and initialed.
at the following meeting?
Schedule shall be
Because it's published immediately once it's been agreed, doesn't it? So.
minuted and initialed,
By the chairman at the following meeting.
initialed as an annex, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
It's an annex. By the chairman of the meeting.
Oh, it does say a detailed list of all payments should be disclosed within or as an attachment to the minutes of the meeting.
Which we do anyway.
Which we do.
Yeah. So are you happy with that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
5.5 is just changing because it said clerk RFO. And same with 5.5, that one, it's just changing. 5.6. No, this is something we don't do. A list of payments which arise on a regular basis as a result of continuing contract, statutory duty or obligations, like salaries, PAYE, pension, and regular maintenance contracts and the like, for which council may authorise payments for the year, provided the requirements set to budget controls are adhered to. You don't, the only thing is the HR contract. The other things come up in further on.
Yes,
We don't have
because
any
you
maintenance
would,
contracts with anything, do we?
grass cutting.
Sorry?
Yeah, it's not really maintenance, though. Well, I suppose it's not maintenance, but it's a long-term contract, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, all our long-term contracts are agreed by full council when they're started, aren't they? So technically they appear on the payments list unless they're direct debit to be agreed. Again, even though you don't have to agree them because it's already been agreed. So all that's doing is just drawing up a list to be agreed again when it's
Yes.
already been agreed.
That's just a forecast, all that is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Saying what you're going to
I
spend.
think,
But then it's only really useful when you put that together with all your other forecasting, isn't it? Because looking at it on its own doesn't really help.
I think once a year to produce a list of all the direct debits that go out.
That'd be
each month.
useful.
Direct debits would be useful. Because
So
some
that
of the
would
contracts are,
include the
yeah,
HR contract
Mm.
as well.
yeah,
Bit at the beginning of the financial year.
Yeah, I think if you,
yeah. Mm.
if you did it sort of in your first meeting
Yeah.
and you agreed all those for the
'Cause
full year,
Mm.
Technically,
that's what you're doing, aren't you?
Yeah.
yeah, because technically they should be published because we're making payments that are over, so for the thingy, transparency code.
Yeah.
It's
So,
only over 500, isn't it? I
yeah,
think anything off the top of my head is over individually is over.
no, not yet, but then I don't know how it works, because in total it is, isn't it, I suppose?
Mm.
But yeah, if we did at the beginning of each financial year, we did the list of direct debits for the year, agree them, and then they can go onto our website along with all of our,
Yeah.
then it's,
Because we don't need to break it down into individual salaries, do we? We can just do PAYE
Yeah.
income tax for the year expected.
Well, that is shown
that's on the
that's every
There you
month.
go. Is it?
Every month.
Okay.
payments list.
All right.
So this is just the ones that don't appear on the payments list, the direct debits.
Okay.
Basically, telephone, electric, gas,
HR contract.
HR contract, yeah.
business rates and council
Yeah,
tax.
so it's
That's
not
all
much.
it is. So would you like me to take out 5.6 and replace it with something else?
Yeah, so if you say for each financial year, clerk, she'll draw up a list of the direct debit payments which arise on a regular basis. Because there was, so you could pretty much just remove that and change it to direct debits.
Direct.
You'll have your little new SIM card as well, won't you? For your little box.
Which,
Yes. The big box.
I don't know how you're going to get that.
No.
If you wait until the end of March, you could use the new trader.
Can't
It'd
wait
probably
till
be
the
too
end of
early
March.
for it.
It probably will.
so, right, if we do in June of each year, because that's technically your first
Meeting
meeting
after.
of the new
Fun.
finance committee.
Yeah. That's fine.
You must know somebody who's got a telehandler around here, local farmer. Just pick it up from the back door and run it round.
Somebody.
Signed by 2 members each and every occasion when payment is authorised, thus controlling the risk of duplicated payments being authorised or made. When a new direct debit, it always goes to full council anyway.
Mm.
Yeah, so record
But you
payments as well.
basically, for all of your payments that are paid through the bank anyhow, which your direct debit is, you are,
There's 2
you're
people.
authorising them anyhow, isn't
Yeah.
it? So it's being done.
Yeah.
So
But
if we
not-
take 5.7 out,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
um, 5.8 is now 5.7. 5.9 is now 5.8. And then 5.10.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get somebody that changes their bank details.
This came up from that training I was on, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where we should be regularly reviewing that we've got the correct details for all our
details, yeah.
suppliers,
Yeah.
address, bank, etc. and names.
I don't think it should just be approved in writing by one member then, it should be at least 2.
Yeah.
And then you've got basically 3 people doing it, haven't you?
By 2 members.
Yeah.
And then Clark 6.2 is just all payments shall be effected by I now changed that because it said, the original one said check.
Yeah.
So you happy
online
with
payment,
that?
yeah.
Have we got a checkbook then?
We have.
Mm-hmm.
Can't tell you where it is. says in there I'm supposed to keep it secret.
Send it back.
6.5, to indicate agreement of the details shown on the cheque in order for payment. Do you want all that bit about checks left in case?
Just in case, because sometimes
Yeah,
we do
well-
have to do it, don't we? It's not very often now, but very occasionally you do.
Do we
to
have a
do
list
it.
of check signatories then?
But then it's the same as the people
Is it?
that are on the month.
Okay.
If thought appropriate by the council, payment for utilities can be made by instructions are signed by one member and clerk, and any payments are reported to council's made. The approval, should be renewed every 2 years. So that could be reviewed at the same time.
Which you already
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Mm.
So if we
Review
put
annually.
annually in June,
So are we saying that one member can sign to say it's done by direct debit?
I think I would say committee, wouldn't you?
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the original payment would be authorised by full council anyway. It's a long-standing one. So all you're really agreeing is that you're just changing the method of payment, aren't you? Yeah.
So we put, by 2 members, or by the committee, wasn't it? By the finance committee.
Oh, the finance committee, yeah. Do you want to do the same thing for 6.8?
Change to annually.
Yeah, change that to annually.
Does that say how many councillors?
Uh,
2 members.
Two members, yeah.
Yeah. Annually in June. Appropriate certain items, to that one, the approval again, same thing?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And 6.10, if thought appropriate, council payment for certain items may be made by internet banking transfer. Evidence is retained showing which members approved the payment. We do that anyway.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
have the emails. Where a computer requires personal identification number for access. Now,
So
this,
that's what we wanted to change, isn't it? We're not going to put it in a sealed envelope.
that's not where it currently is it?
No, because you can't, because that's saying PIN or other password for access to council records on that computer. So what we said is if we have one file on the OneDrive with all passwords and stuff in it, and then we have the password to that OneDrive account in a sealed envelope,
Yeah.
and do it like that. Because you can't write all the passwords on a piece of paper, because
No.
it's not.
It doesn't have to be the
Hours
chair
and
of the council. Can't it be the chair of HR or PRIT?
Hmm?
And the
Be
file
that way.
shall be made of the PIN and passwords and shall be,
So a note shall be made of the PIN and password and should be that.
shall
Yes.
be.
It's basically, you are still making a note of them, but they're going to be,
Well, what we said is the sealed envelope will be in the safe.
yeah.
Maybe the small safe and not the big safe.
Never find it in the big safe.
Sometimes you can't get in the big safe, so we might put it in the small
Shall
safe.
be in a file on the OneDrive,
Which password of that will be.
have a password access, which will be in a sealed
Yeah, so then whoever has the access to the safe is the emergency contact to
I
get the
think if
password.
you keep in that it should be opened in the presence of 2 members and not just 1.
The
Yeah.
evidence
Yeah.
may not be opened under the presence of 2 other councillors.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it's saying the chairman plus 2 others, but I think as if it's done
Two's enough.
within 2, with 2
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Oh, so so it must be
Yeah.
opened in
Yeah.
the presence of another councillor?
Yeah,
Has been opened, yes, and the PIN and passwords shall be changed as soon as practicable. The fact that the sealed envelope has been opened in whatever circumstances shall be reported to all members immediately and formally to the next available meeting. This will not be required for a member's personal computer, used only for remote authorisation of
Yeah.
banks.
Yeah,
So that's correct.
Mhm.
Um, And then any, debit card, we don't have debit cards.
no.
But also regular backup copies of the records of any computer shall be made and shall be stored securely away from the computer in question, preferably off-site.
Where's that one?
6.13.
I missed that one then.
We don't do that, but we've got the, see that's, we don't have copies on the computer, we have it all on the cloud,
Yeah.
don't we?
So it's,
So
So
it's already,
it's already being done, isn't it?
it's off-site anyway.
Yeah.
all documents
Realtors will back up
are
the
Yeah.
accounting software on a regular basis.
to the cloud.
Yeah.
Any debit card issued will be specifically restricted, Cloud Referral will also be restricted to a single transaction. So shall I change that debit to credit card?
Mm-hmm.
You've got a credit card a bit further down, haven't you? Corporate credit card or trade card account opened for the council. So you basically duplicate.
Duplicating it, yeah.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah,
get rid of later, couldn't you?
and then you can copy the bit about the maximum transaction of, but then you can only spend up to £500 with authorisation of the 2 councillors anyway.
How often
Yeah,
do we need to
prepaid
go over
debit
500?
card. So we can take
No.
out, we can take out 619 then,
Yeah,
yeah?
Mm.
And did you want me to put,
So, yeah, if you've got 620, any corporate credit card, blah, blah, will be restricted to use by the clerk RFO. Maybe, and it maybe just say it's subject to your same restrictions of spend limits, isn't it? So the limit, and also it has to be authorised by 2
not
councillors.
be used under any circumstances, this clause, subject to spend limits.
Mhm.
No, but hard.
622, petty cash, we don't do petty cash.
okay.
So I think I can take all of 622 out.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's 1890. All cash received must be banked intact, yeah. And then payment of salaries. Sorry, I'm just getting to that highlight.
So that 7.3 is correct, isn't it?
Not quite. Because what happens if you get,
Sorry, mine's, look.
you can't go slow, innit?
Sorry, guys.
So no
Change
changes
made to
to
an employee's pay, emulance of terms and conditions of employment without prior consent of the council.
Yeah.
Except when you get something from the child support agency,
Yeah.
whatever they're called,
Oh,
who
okay.
can
Insist.
Unless,
insist on it.
yeah, so maybe you say unless, except where insisted upon from
From
third
outside.
Government
party.
authority.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Garner, that's what the word is, isn't it? Garner your wages.
Except.
What is an that
Emolument.
word?
Emolument. Payment.
Is it?
Without the prior consent of the council except where demanded
By a government agency.
Yeah,
by
approved government agency.
Yeah.
You would hope they would be, but you know.
The chances are it's only going to be CSA or in-hand revenue.
Yeah.
Because you've got to catch up on your PAYE from a previous job or something.
Mm-hmm.
7.6, an effective system, personal performance management should be maintained. And then I've changed that because that did just say the clerk there.
Yeah, it's for all employees.
And it's all employees.
Because that's the appraisals, isn't it?
That was.
So why does that come under financial regulations?
I don't know why it's all in here, because
No.
this is all HR. I mean,
Yeah.
technically, that's in our employee handbook.
Yeah.
I
So
know,
do we
it's
need it
weird.
here as well?
I don't know.
8.3, the council arranged with the council's banks invest by sending a copy of each statement of account to the chairman of the council at the same time as one is issued. We don't
We
actually
don't do
get
it.
them anymore,
No.
they're all online.
Yeah.
So,
And as the people that got online banking can see them,
yeah,
it's not relevant.
No.
so
No,
should
so that can be removed.
take that one, take that out.
Oh, so 8.8, payments in respect of short-term or long-term investments, including transfers between bank accounts, blah, blah, blah. In
Yeah,
accordance with Regulation 5, authorisation payments, Regulation 6, instruction for payments. So is that basically where you can't authorise a payment over
Well,
X amount?
no, what it is, and it's completely different to what the financial risk assessment says, because I've always, obviously not just me on my own, but with one councillor, if you transfer money between accounts, you don't need to go to committee or full council to do it.
Mm.
It automatically, so, because you're not spending any,
Mm.
you're just transferring
But
it,
that
so
is
that's
basically
what it's
saying it, you should be going
to
to,
council,
Yeah,
but
which
it's
is silly.
not always practical, and
Well, you're not spending.
you're not spending anything.
No.
so you just say shall be made with authority from 2 councillors? Or
Well,
one
including
councillor?
councillor,
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
including transfers.
Whoever's authorising the payment.
Yeah.
Shall be made in accordance, shall be made by, shall be made
By the
Authoriser.
yeah.
RFO and one councillor.
Oh, 9.10.
Mm.
And in,
It's a bit worrying this one because we need to wait until we go on the
Oh yeah, don't know.
training
do we?
course, don't we, first?
Yeah,
Mm.
we
Yeah.
may have to keep that in there for the time being,
Yeah.
because quite frankly, we might have to be doing it.
Mm.
And we don't know yet.
No.
No, we've got to wait, haven't
It
we?
makes you wonder why it's there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does, because obviously
It's
we should be doing it.
It's been there for years and years and years, but
Yeah.
it's not actually happened.
No, probably should have.
Yeah.
So 10 can be got rid of, can't it?
I heard
Because
that.
that's all part of procurement,
Yeah.
obviously.
yeah, it is, you're quite right. So can we take all of 10 out?
Well, do you want to just make reference to the procurement policy in that section?
Right,
Please
Well,
read.
just put down,
please refer,
yeah,
Just so you've got something for it, but
Yeah.
it's all in another.
yeah.
refer to the procurement policy.
Just say the RFO shall verify the lawful nature of any proposed purchase.
Yes, that is quite right. I was
So-
just finishing doing something to do with Silka and yes.
Is that in the procurement policy?
In the procurement policy?
Yeah, that little sort of, that you verify the lawful nature.
You do by nature of what you do.
Mm.
So if you wanted to spend money, it's just part of the role, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you wanted to spend money on a party for yourselves, I would have to say you can't do that because it's within.
Oh, so it says the minutes can be recorded with the power being used as well.
I did see something online about that the other day, and some councils where they have, say, a precept of 10 or 20,000 record against every payment the power or the duty.
Because they got the time to go
Because
to
they, yeah, but big councils don't, because, and most of the spend that we have is the same type of spend all the time,
Yeah.
so you wouldn't need to do it. But we do record our section 137 spend, so that's.
So 9, 10 we're going to review after we've done the training. Yeah.
And
It's just
the
got two
other
clerk numbers,
highlights,
hasn't it?
yeah, is where I've just changed that. There's a bit charities again on 16, and that's it. Except for one thing. The next review date is not the 10th of April, it's got to be the 11th, because the first Monday in April, the second Monday in April 2023 is
Easter
Easter
Monday.
Monday.
Oh,
So we
okay.
got to,
So
so
I'll
I'll
just amend those.
just change that to the 11th, but I mean that's immaterial. So is everyone happy with that one?
Yep.
Yep.
Financial risk assessment, it needs a bit of fiddling with. Have you?
Need tidying up a little bit, doesn't
Yeah.
it? I don't think, it's nothing major in there, is it?
No.
To be honest, we can get that done before
Yeah.
full council, can't we?
Reserves policy, we'll have to update that. Procurement, that's a recent one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think most of those, because they've all come in recently, they'll have to, we can't really review them now, we have to refer,
Yeah.
and then they'll have to
Suspend
suspend
standing
standing
orders.
orders
Yeah.
to, thing.
Okay.
So we've done a lot of those policies.
So can we resolve to recommend?
You can resolve, so you can change to resolve to accept the financial regulations. That's the only one,
Okay.
and others to be reviewed by full council. Yeah. So can I have a proposer to change the thing?
Oh, second.
Thank you. Thank you. And proposer for the financial ones. Thank you. Thank you, agreed. Thank you. That's that.
Item 148, to receive an update on Realtus and resolve to agree the users. So we were talking about this the other day, weren't we? So we're licensed for 5 users. So the suggestion was Jan, obviously, and Karen, is it Karen?
Yep.
Karen, yourself, and me, and then the 5th user will be set up as an admin user.
As we thought, HR means that you're basically reviewing what your employees are doing.
Yeah.
Finance, again, it's all financial.
Yeah,
And then you've got
a spare one just in case.
Yeah.
That all makes sense.
Yeah.
But we did, Jan did point out to me earlier on today that even though we've got 5 users, we can only have 2 users for the cloud,
Okay.
which would obviously have to be,
Well, that's
Can,
fine, 'cause
can.
then you can,
yeah, can't be anybody else now.
Yep.
But, and we're only here as a stopgap anyway, really, aren't we, to, you know, if you're both off for some bizarre reason. So, no, there's only an update.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, to resolve to agree the users.
Yeah.
It is.
Is it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll propose.
Second.
Agreed.
Okay, item 149, to resolve to agree to recommend to full council to move COIF and treasury stock to assets. This is at the bequest of Realtus, because that's how it should be shown in the accounts.
I'll propose.
Second.
I say yes. Item 150, to resolve to agree to recommend to full council the staff salaries for 2022, 2023, and to resolve to its Public Bodies Act. 1960 due to the confidential nature of the business to be transacted.
Before you do that, can you reorder, please? Reorder the agenda.
Okay, I'd like to reorder them so that 151 and 152 are moved up, and 158 is moved down to.
That's complicated, yeah.
You second that.
Yeah.
So, items for discussion and agenda item requests. Budget, a big budget review next
We're
month.
April, won't we?
Yeah,
Right, okay.
so we're going to have a big budget review. We've got to have a double check on opening and closing balances, haven't we, from financial year end, to make sure that the Realtor software agrees with what's on Scribble.
Yeah.
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 What else do we need to do? Budget forecasting as per normal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at the end of the year, budget review, I suppose, isn't it? Because we won't be spending any of next year's money yet, will we?
No.
Hopefully.
So, yeah, because April full council will agree the reserves policy, so we need to be agreeing what we're going to put in reserves at finance to
Yeah.
recommend to full council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else that you think of that comes up? Let Jan know, obviously. Item 152, confirm the date and venue is next here on the 4th of April at 6 o'clock. Or 5 if you wanted to come earlier.
Well, it depends on who's coming, doesn't it? Because if it's just us and...
Well, you're not gonna. Are you gonna know? No, you might. Yeah, might because it's planning needs to have their representative, isn't it? For next.
Yes, if we leave it
As it is for now.
as is.
Well, everybody. If you got left on planning, everybody can do 5, can't
I don't know who's on planet.
Yeah,
they? You,
yeah,
Mark,
yes, we can.
Yeah.
Peter Howden,
Yeah.
and
Check
Even.
time
Yeah.
with members attending
so should be able to go earlier
before agenda.
as well.
Especially now then, nights are getting longer. It's going to be time to get out in the garden in the evenings.
Yes.
And not sitting here.
Mm-hmm.
Get the French beans growing. Okay.
Yeah.
You get close.
No, yeah, finish it. So, meeting closed.